Welcome back, guys. We are hitting the dead center of my 1970 review series, year by year, my favorite albums. We are in 1975, and we are hitting my peak 70s. I love the 70s. It's one of my favorite decades for music, if not my favorite. And the mid 70s, in particular, from 74 to 77, could be my favorite period for music ever. The most I've ever listened to is in that era. So I'm very excited to get these going, but the problem is there's so many albums that come out at this time, in that time that I love, that it was a little harder to make a list than it was in 1970 or 71. 72, I couldn't even do full albums. So we're getting to a part where I had to start narrowing it down, and I love that, but it also makes it kind of hard, so I'm going to give some honorable mentions out the gate. A Night at the Opera by Queen, Fly By Night by Rush, Foghat, Fool for the City, Eagles, One of Those Nights. When I go to the Eagles, I always do greatest hits anyway, but this album has a bunch of those greatest hits on it in general. And Toys in the Attic by Aerosmith. I touched on it last episode. Aerosmith is a band that if I like their songs, I love them. If I don't like the album, I hate it. It's a love or loathe. Aerosmith is so up and down with me. That is one that is a very big up, but it's just put head to head against a lot of albums that I absolutely adore. So it is an honorable mention. And I will preface that this top 5 isn't necessarily a ranking of worst to best. It's just 5 albums I like. Some are higher than others, but in general, these are just albums I absolutely adore. So coming up first, I'll just go ahead and knock them out the way, because if you followed this channel, you know I'm a huge Kiss fan. I've reviewed every album, every track off every studio album. I've ranked them all. So I'll just go ahead and get Alive and Dressed to Kill out the way. Dressed to Kill, if you watched my Kiss ranking of the albums, you know that one is at the top. That is about as top as you can get, just like Alive would be. Dressed to Kill has great production, great songs, and Alive just takes all those hit songs that I love from those first 3 albums and gives it that live feel, gives it that edge, gives it that rawness that makes you fall in love with Kiss. I've talked about Kiss ad nauseum. I'll get them out the way first. Dressed to Kill and Alive. I think everybody already knew that was coming. Up next is a band that, if I had to guess, I haven't counted it, but I think they're going to have the most albums on this 1970 review series. And it's not even that they're my favorite band, but they just had some great albums that, once you have to go year by year, they always make the cut. And that is Led Zeppelin with Physical Graffiti, and you get The Rover and My Dying Time, Houses of the Holy, my favorite song on this album, Trampled Underfoot, Kashmir. But you have some deeper tracks like Down by the Seaside. I don't listen to this album all the way through nearly as much as I just pick off the hits, but those hits and known songs are so solid and so loved, and it makes this album something truly phenomenal for 1975. Up next, we have a band that has already been on here twice. They will be on here again. They're going to give Zeppelin and Kiss a run for their money, and that is Lynyrd Skynyrd with Nothing Fancy. You don't necessarily have the radio hits that you get with Sweet Home Alabama, that you get with Freebird. You don't get that play with this album. But if you put it on, if you like Skynyrd and you just know the bigger tracks, put this album on, listen to it all the way through, because this might be their best album. You have Saturday Night Special, Cheatin' Woman, which has such a nice, slow, bluesy vibe, Railroad Song, which is just catchy, I'm a Country Boy, On the Hunt, which has got to be one of my favorites, if not top 3 Skynyrd songs, Am I Losing, an acoustic, nice song, Made in the Shade, Whiskey Rock-a-Roller, which just makes you want to go pour a glass of whiskey and be a rock star. Great album, start to finish. I've already touched on Skynyrd so much that I've told y'all, anytime I put their albums on from 73 to 77, there's never a skip. It's just a straight shuffle. I want to hear every one of them. Nothing getting looked over, especially this album. And last but not least is a band that has already been in this review series before, and that is Pink Floyd with Wish You Were Here. You get Shine On You Crazy Diamond, Welcome to the Machine, Have a Cigar, Wish You Were Here. And it used to be this was not an album I ever went and listened to. I would listen to Wish You Were Here. That was it. I would listen to Have a Cigar sometimes. But I remember I've listened to Dark Side of the Moon. I'd listened to The Wall. I had watched a documentary on the making of Wish You Were Here. And the backstory to that album and the Syd Barrett stuff and the themes of the album, it just really drew me in to where I went and listened to the album and I was sucked in. And that Shine On You Crazy Diamond, you get the keyboards and stuff, and then finally, after waiting and waiting and waiting, to this day, it still feels like I'm waiting forever. You finally get that guitar ring, those 4 notes, just ding, 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 and you wait. And the more I listen to it, and the older I get, the more I find myself just excited. I'm like, yes, when's it going to come in? It's going to come in. It's coming. You just get so top to bottom great. Have a Cigar might be my favorite song on the album. Wish You Were Here definitely could take the top spot just because it's such a deep song. But Have a Cigar, it's got kind of the upbeat style that I like about them. It's got some flair. It's just got some fun to it. Great song on the album. Welcome to the Machine. I've heard some great covers of that, but no one does it like Pink Floyd. That's my top of 1975. I know there's a bunch that I missed, guys. There's tons of great albums in this era. So put them down below, which ones make your top 5. Let me know in the comments which ones did I miss, which ones should I keep. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because we've still got a couple more years to go, baby. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. You guys are the best. Peace.